Welcome to another video of Teaching with Technology. We're going to focus on, rather than in-class flipping, a typical class setup for me, which is videos that are for students at home. Now, you are doing this as an in-class flip, since you are watching it here during our workshop, but to talk about my typical day in my classroom. So my at-home videos are typically videos that I create using this program here, which is called Doodlecast Pro. I've also used EduCreations in the past. And these videos, I input pictures. A lot of times it's the notes that I give the kids. This is a PowerPoint or Google Slides that I took pictures of and dropped into here. So my typical day, students at home watch a video. When I make the video, I use a program called Edpuzzle online, which allows me to input the questions that you will be answering throughout these videos. And that gathers the information for the student so that I can see kind of where they are when they come in before class, so it can help me gauge what I want them to do for their warm-up. So I always start with a warm-up. While they're working on it, I will check well, I've already checked online to make sure that they did the homework and whatnot, but I kind of go around and see if they had any specific questions that needed to be addressed. And then I have students put their work up on the board for the warm-up. Could be using Plickers, it could be a Kahoot, it could be just pencil and paper, whatever you want your warm-up to be, but for me it's always based on the previous video that they were supposed to complete. Then we go over any questions for the warm-up. As far as the work, I have students explain what they did, and then I also take any questions that they had from the video and take the time if I see that a lot of kids had struggled in the video on the second question, whatever that concept was. I spend a little bit more time and might do a little bit of one-on-one or group discussion, full group teaching. Then I take the time after we've gone over any questions, and if I needed to do any additional reteaching of a concept, then I explain what the activity is for the day. So a lot of times I use stations, but it could just simply be, okay, you're going to go into your book and you're going to work on these problems, or you're going to do this worksheet. It might be a scavenger hunt. It could be a lab. So there's whatever your activity is for the day. So every group might be working on the same thing, or you might break them up into stations. There's different types of stations that you can use. Within these stations, it might have the in-class flipping like you're doing now. It might not. So there's circuit stations and then the freedom to move about how they want. So in a circuit, it means they start in one place and they go in a specific order because the information builds on itself. So they might all start at station A and then move to station B and then to station C and so on and so forth. Or they are going to have the freedom to choose. So the freedom to choose means that any station, they don't need to do the station next to it or before it in order to do the one that they are at. Okay, so circuit training, they move in a specific order. And freedom is they can choose station order. And as they're going through, so a lot of times I do the freedom one because it might be, they were working on the quadratic formula. So one of the stations might be just, okay, here's a quadratic equation. Now use it, plug and chug, just using the formula. Another station might be using word problems that require you to use the quadratic formula to solve. Another station might be using the quadratic formula to find the vertex. So there's lots of different types of stations that I could use for that particular concept. So they don't need to do one station in order to solve the next one. Okay, so once I do that, then we have a wrap up for the day. So it could just be a verbal wrap up. This is what we did today. This is where I need you to be by this date. Here's your homework. It might be a exit slip. I use Plickers quite a bit just to do okay, here's what you did today. How are you doing? It could be a lot of things. And that's a general class format every single day. So again, I talked about, the fact that you can use any types of activities. So I want you to think about what types, based on everything that I've said, what types of activities might you do in your classroom if you were to use blended learning, if you were to use, and what kind of technologies might you use for that. Okay, I frequently, obviously, I'm using Edpuzzle, I've used Doodlecast Pro, I've talked about Plickers, and you've seen Plickers. I use calculators quite a bit. I might use Google Slides, Google Sheets. There's all kinds of things that you can do, but what types of activities might you do while using all of this technology and blended learning? So I want you to fill in 3 that you might use. So obviously this is not teaching you how to create videos. This video is not teaching you how, fully, how to implement and all the different technologies that are out there. This just kind of gives you an idea of how I use technology in my classroom and what my classroom runs like on a daily basis for my students. It was short, it's not fully in detail and in depth. If you have any questions and you want to try this and you want more in-depth training on structures, ideas, how to make the videos, to post them, etc., please feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, and I will be happy to help you with that.